When I was in my late teens, I dated a moron. I mean, it's kind of a rite of passage, isn't it? Anyway, this moron was 10 years older than me, and so I thought he had his shit together. But spoiler alert, he didn't. He was actually obsessed with get-rich-quick schemes, whether those be little ones, like how he managed a Discovery Channel store and he would pretend to break big-ticket items and then sell them on eBay, or big schemes like house flipping. I didn't know at the time what house flipping was. That whole subprime thing hadn't happened yet. But I learned all about it because he had purchased these DVD sets for some exorbitant amount of money. I'm talking like hundreds of dollars that he didn't really have, from people who claimed to have gotten rich by doing this, by flipping houses. And we could tell that they had gotten rich from it because they were doing their camera interviews lounging next to fancy pools or sitting on the hoods of their sports cars. My eventual ex never did end up buying a house, let alone flipping one. And I soon came to realize that these people weren't getting rich necessarily from flipping houses. They were getting rich because people like my boyfriend were sending them hundreds of dollars for a few DVDs of them shipping champagne and laughing about all the money they made. The actual advice they gave on those DVDs was really non-specific and probably pretty bad in retrospect. I realized it was the same scam that had been going on for longer than DVDs have even been in existence. Back in the 70s and 80s, when newspaper personal ads were a thing, you would often see these ads that said things like, make hundreds of dollars fast without leaving your home. Send $10 and a self-addressed stamped envelope to this address to learn more. And when you sent along your $10 and your self-addressed stamped envelope, you would get that envelope back with a pamphlet inside that said, here's how you make all the money. You put a personal ad in the newspaper and say, make hundreds of dollars fast without leaving your home. Send $10 in a self-addressed stamped envelope. You get the idea. It's technically true, kind of legal, sort of brilliant. You gotta admire it a little. It's my great displeasure, though, to point out that the spirit of this type of scam is still alive and well today, and it's taking place, of course, on YouTube. Financial success gurus claim to be able to teach you, mere poor mortal, how to live the lifestyle of your dreams without actually, working for it or getting good at anything. I learned about this thanks to the YouTube channel Coffee Break, which is run by a guy named Steven who talks about media and marketing and things like that. He recently made a video exposing a man named Kevin David, a quote-unquote financial success guru, basically a guy who claims to be able to help you get rich quick. I went to Kevin David's website and I immediately recognized him as being from the exact same ilk as the many different people making the DVD sets that my moronic ex-boyfriend invested in the hopes of becoming a millionaire. Fancy car, check. Testimonials, check. Testimonials from people who claim that they made a bunch of money from him but have a bunch of other profiles under different names around the internet, like, oh, you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars while supporting 2 young children. Brit. Yes, in fact, that does sound fake. Check. Course materials that cost hundreds to thousands of dollars. Check. Small print that makes refunds very, very hard to get. Check. Kevin David's get-rich-quick scheme involves encouraging people to buy wholesale products from sites like Alibaba and then reselling them, drop shipping them to customers via sites like Amazon at a steep markup. But he doesn't apparently bother to mention that the profit isn't anywhere near what he's claiming it would be.
For one, you can very easily find this listing on Amazon and run the AMZ Scout profit calculator. And the FBA fee is $12.91. So, immediately Amazon's taking 27%. And that's it took me 2 seconds to tell you guys that. That he could have mentioned that in 2 seconds, chose not to. Also, like, going back to the Alibaba portion, it's extremely well known by anybody that's ever sold on Amazon that the prices you see in search results are to entice you to reach out to them. They're not the real prices. Or they are the real prices if you order 10,000 pieces instead of 100 pieces. If you order 100 pieces, you're going to get quoted like most likely $9 a unit, something a lot higher than $2.39.
Coffee Break's video didn't really focus on that stuff. He just described how Kevin David seems to have a habit of plagiarizing other gurus word for word. I won't link to those videos here for several reasons. One, you can just click on over to Coffee Break's Twitter thread to see those. But two, because you can't see them on Coffee Break's YouTube channel because David has filed a copyright claim forcing that video's removal. So I won't be showing any of David's videos here, just in case. David also, though, claims that his name itself is copyrighted, which is strange because you can't really copyright a person's name. I mean, you might be able to make a good case for it if your name was like Unicorn Ray of Light Burp Skateboard or Prince, maybe. No, that's not actually what that case was about. But a name like Kevin David, that's like the most basic Western man name in existence. I almost can't even see it on a plain piece of paper because it's so plain, it just disappears into the background. Like, I already forgot what it was. What, David George Michael, Gary, Peter Robert? Yeah, I'm sorry, Kevin. But people are allowed to talk about you on YouTube and they're allowed to use your name, your boring ass name when they do it. Case in point, this very video you're watching right now, which as of you watching it is still up. So I've talked about this shit before. It's a basic tool in the toolkit of every charlatan, scammer, pseudoscientist, quack, and lowlife alive today. Not that I'm saying that Kevin David is any of those things. I would never say that and possibly leave myself open to a libel lawsuit. I'm just saying that he uses the exact same tools as those types of people. Like, if I showed up to your house with a hot pizza with the exact toppings you just ordered, wearing a jacket with the name of the pizzeria on it that you just ordered from, that does not necessarily mean that I'm your pizza delivery driver. It might mean that I'm a serial killer who just killed your pizza delivery driver and I'm about to gain access to your home under false pretenses so that I might also murder you. See? Anyway, yes, people who are hurt by the truth will do anything they can to silence the truth. And in America 2019, that means frivolous libel lawsuits, or just threats of lawsuits. And on YouTube specifically, it means filing copyright takedown notices, even if there is no actual copyright violation happening, because YouTube has generally decided that they don't want to bother fighting about it. They don't want to figure out if a YouTube video in particular from a small streamer is actually a violation or if the person just says it's a violation. It's much easier for them to just remove the video and then tell the small streamer, good luck, figure it out. So Coffee Break's video is no longer public, at least as of the time of this video's recording. I hope that he manages to convince YouTube to put it back up because Kevin David is making a lot of money with his online presence, which, as Coffee Break alleges, correctly, in my opinion, is stolen wholesale from other gurus. So we need people who will stand up to Kevin David and people like him so that he knows, and others like him know, that you can't silence valid criticism with threats. You have to actually step up and defend yourself. As an aside, I was recently perusing the FTC's website because that's the sort of thing I do for fun. And I happened across this article from March of last year in which the FTC announced that they were starting a lawsuit against a company called Amazing Wealth Systems, also known at different points as AWS, FBA Stores, and Online Auction Learning Center, for making misleading claims about, using a system to make big bucks selling things on Amazon, just like Kevin David does. In fact, in the comments on the FTC's article on the case, 4 different people mention Kevin David. Like this guy who says several friends signed up the Kevin David course and never got a single product launched and ended up losing several thousands of dollars on products he stated would sell but didn't. Or this guy who says, yes, I bought into Kevin David's course for $997 and the same thing happened. He drives a Lamborghini to get you to buy into this and it is not as described. The system or the Lamborghini, I'd be willing to bet. Since that was last year, we even have a happy update of sorts. The FTC won their case with a judgment against the scammers for $102 million. If you know of anyone who was ripped off by AWS, the FTC would love to hear from them. People can report their experiences with AWS at ftc.gov/complaint. And when the settlement money is collected, the FTC will start reimbursing people. The FTC also mentions that if you have experience with another business that looks just like AWS, the company that promised people great profits selling on Amazon but failed to actually produce those profits, you can use the exact same website to report that business, ftc.gov/complaint. Isn't that convenient? Nothing to do with Kevin David, of course. I'm just mentioning it. ftc.gov/complaint.